Hi, this is Gabriani from Dodger Media Online. On October 2nd, the government was planned to shut down. However, it was prevented at the 11th hour. In today's segment, we are going to talk about what a government shutdown is and what it means for our nation. We will also have a special guest, AP government teacher Ms. Hladky, who will give us her knowledge on government shutdowns.
So the first question is, does a government shutdown only affect the government, or are there other work industries that are affected as well? If there are, which ones do you believe will be affected the most?
I would get a microphone. So basically, a government shutdown has wide repercussions on the economy. So I mean, when you say other work industries, I mean, yes, the entire economy is impacted because government workers are so part of our daily lives. Some government workers don't come to work during a government shutdown. Others have to come to work, but they're not paid. But they're forced to come to work, and they're considered necessary employees or critical employees. And so, but what ends up happening with these people is that they know they're not going to get paid, so they call in sick, or half of them don't show, or they show late. And so
The last government shutdown took place from December 22nd, 2018 to January 25th, 2019. Because this was the longest shutdown in U.S. history, how did it affect our nation?
Okay, so a little bit of a repeat of this last question. Yeah, I mean, the impact on government workers, a lot of them that were sent home, obviously they weren't paid, and even the ones that were working weren't paid. And this had, and the longer you do it, the more they suffer because they're not getting their wages. And a lot of these workers aren't like high earning workers, so they need every paycheck. Now, of course, they do get back pay eventually when the government reopens, they refund. But like for people that have monthly bills and are living from paycheck to paycheck, that's a lot of people that are struggling financially and get more into a hole. So that was a very specific effect on them. But again, overall, it hurts things because there's just so much that the government does in business. Not just the border stuff, not just people flying from place to place, but even sort of permits. There's all kinds of government involvement in permission to move goods, to start a business. All those things they stop because those aren't considered essential necessarily. So literally the pace of the economy slows down and people lose money.
So because there are so many, such a big impact of a government shutdown on our economy, do you have any alternatives to the shutdown system in place?
Okay, so here's where we go into sort of how it's supposed to work. The reason it gets shut down is because Congress can't decide how much money to spend. They're circumscribed. It's both how much and on what, right? And so what would help is if there was more of a plan, if Congress could learn to work together and compromise and figure out, work ahead instead of waiting until the last minute, because it's also the timing. So it's a combination of them not being able to compromise and then waiting until the last minute, and then the shutdown becomes sort of and I think this is related to one of your other questions. The shutdown becomes part of sort of their competition and the politics.
Thank you for your insight, Ms. Hladky. And that concludes our segment for today. Thanks for tuning in to Dodger Media Online. And never forget that a potential government shutdown is always looming.